It says this Haynot is on the air. Good morning, everyone. Len Mooney here with Lunch with Len on May 26, 2015. And we have an incredible special guest today. As you all know, I have Justice Eagan with me. And looking at the attendee list here, looking at who's out there, I don't think there's anybody here that I need to introduce Justice to. We all know who he is. So let's just get started and jump right in. And as I told you in the chat, but by the way, can everybody hear me? If you can't hear me, let me know. I'm looking for some comments in the chat that you can hear me.
Yeah, we're going to see a little bit of a delay, I'm sure, right? As is the usual with webinars on air or with Hangouts in general, but got a group on today, so that's exciting. You know, nice early afternoon thing. I love what you do here at Lunch with Len.
All right, well, thank you. So can everybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Somebody let us know. I'm going to keep talking, assuming you can hear me.
Guys, let us know you can hear us and see us for that matter. Yeah. You should be able to see us as well. Yes, I see.
Yes.
Awesome.
I got a yes from Chris. Okay. And like I told you in the chat, any one of you who wants to come over and interact directly with Justice, I'm sure Justice would welcome you. We're going to bring you over, but let's just kick this thing off and get started. And then let me know in the chat if you want to come over and talk directly with us. Rick's hearing double.
Well, Rick, you've got two people logged in right now. I can see your name in here twice with two different, it looks like two different pictures. So maybe you have two different Google accounts or something, but you're logged in twice.
Yeah, that's true. And I also put my headset on. Sometimes that helps with the echo problem, so let me know.
Yeah, but I would hear that echo if it was here. It's funny because I was looking down the attendees and I saw Rick Johnson, and you know, you got two people on the webinar.
Right. Yeah, I see that. So Rick, you got to get rid of one of you.
I got to turn my air on. It might make a little bit of noise, but it's getting hot in here up in New Jersey. Give me 2 seconds here.
Okay.
All right.
And I see we have someone here who I don't recall ever being here before. Ann, welcome aboard, Ann. And once again, everybody, let me know in the chat if you want to come over. So, hey, Justice, in a way, it's many of us were on Friday Night Live, and we heard the interview Friday night. So that was awesome, and I
had such a blast.
It's a really hard act to follow. I mean, I've been sitting here the last couple of days going, okay, what am I going to do to follow that one? But you know, many of us in this group, this little working group of mine, we have all made a commitment to each other that we're working together, we're trying to help each other, and almost all of us have our tickets for Live the Dream, and every one of us intends to walk across that stage, and at minimum L1. If you were sitting in our position, right where we are, a little bit over 2 months to go, what would you tell us to do? What's your advice?
You know, it's a good question, and I know you mentioned there was someone new on here. For those of you who are on here, if you don't know MLSP, that's an affiliate system. You know, that Len promotes, that I've promoted, that I do promote still. And L1 is essentially the first rank there, right? The first achievement inside My Lead System Pro. And, you know, Len, it's funny. I think that everybody makes L1 10 times harder than it needs to be. And let's think about it here. We've got a $10 trial of Mastery, which is their premium level, which gets you 3 points towards L1. And guys, the advice I give for this is going to be very similar to the advice I would give if we're talking about the first rank in your company, you know, in your network marketing company or a different system or whatever the case may be. Usually the first rank is very reasonably achievable, right? So to get to L1, you need to bring in 10 people at a $10 trial, right? That will ultimately be $150 a month. 4 people, well, you need to bring in 4 people that go past the trial, and 2 of them have to stay active. Now, we can sit here on webinars, and we can sit here on conference calls, and everybody can dive into their training, and they can do their fancy marketing stuff and all that different stuff, right? But I post something on social media, and it gets likes and shares, or it gets likes and comments, right? And what I've been making a habit of doing of late, because I have some things going on that I want to rank advance in and do all that good stuff, is starting conversations with the people that, engage with my stuff on Facebook. And what happens is when you get a message thread going with someone, your stuff starts showing up in their newsfeed more. So, I wouldn't just go in and try and sell them, but I would start multiple conversations every day. I'd start 5 conversations a day minimum, maybe more. And Lynn, if you start 5 conversations a day over a 30-day period of time, okay, which to live the dream, we really have a couple of months. So over a 60-day period of time, what's going to happen is you're going to make a lot of new friends and you're going to get good conversations going. And if you find those people's pain, if you have a genuine, concern or genuine interest in helping them, and you ask questions rather than seeing them as a prospect, what will happen is doors will open for you to expose MLSP. And any one of you on here can go out there and network and bring 4 people into MLSP. See, what happens is sometimes we get caught up in all the marketing stuff. And I love the marketing stuff, and it's fun, and it's effective, and there's a lot of leverage in it. But it's a waiting game, and there's a learning curve, okay? See, when we want results, there's 2 ways to get results. You got marketing and you got prospecting. And marketing is doing something and hoping somebody's going to respond to it. And prospecting is getting out there and getting exposures, right? Connecting and actually creating the response. And so what I would say to anybody who wants L1 is get out there, find the target market for MLSP, and prospect. Roll your sleeves up. Get it done. I will promise you this. If you go to live the dream and you're not L1 and you miss the pool party and you don't get the award up on stage, you're going to look back at the 60 days previous to now, or a little more than 60 days, whatever it is, and you'll go, how did I not talk to enough people to sign 4 people up? How did I miss it in 70? How many days is it to L1? I keep throwing out these different day numbers, like 75 days to L1 pretty much, or 70 days to L1.
Yeah, something like that.
Imagine, and believe me, I dealt with this when it was L5. I was really close to L5 at one point, and I saw the L5ers up there getting their awards. And I said, wait a second, Justice. How did you not do what you had to do to get up there with them? Why didn't you just place a priority on it? Why were you fiddling with these other things? So my number 1 suggestion would be is find people who are in the target market, build relationships with them. It only takes a few minutes a day to send some messages out. Be structured with your time. Don't sit there and message on Facebook all day long, but get messages going and then come back, respond. Have real conversations with people, find their pain, and introduce them to MLSP. It's a $10 try. It should be an easy close. Not in a passive way, not in a like, here's the link, hope you sign up way, but in a, hey, I might have a solution for you. You open and jumping on the phone kind of way, right? I mean, I had a phone conversation the other day via Facebook. It produced $900 because I had a conversation that said, hey, and I don't network as much as some do on social media, but like I said, I have some things I want to accomplish right now. So I started some conversations, couple conversations. I'm in a conversation with the guy. I said, hey, you know what? I think I could help you. Want to jump on the phone for 15 minutes? One day later, making that 15-minute phone call had produced $900. So if that can't produce 4 or 5 $10 trials in a 70-day period of time, then people just are focusing on the wrong, their efforts are in the wrong places. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. Yeah. And I was listening to Kate and Andrew McShay last night, actually, and Kate was saying the same thing. It's fundamentally the same message. And Andrew, you got to roll up your sleeves and go to work right now. It's the time to do it.
That's it.
It's it.
And we have to, I always say that, our actions have to be in line with the things we say we want. Right? And so if you say you really want L1, then working on your blog header or, trying to figure out Facebook pixels, that's the stuff you do on top of the activities that get you to L1. Okay? Because that's in line with what you say you want. And, if people function there, there'd be a lot bigger and better results. Do you know what I mean? That, believe it or not, there's resistance to doing that stuff. So we have a tendency to fill our days with all the work that's not the money-making activities. I mean, we've talked to, you're familiar with the challenges. I mean, it goes right back to the core, the core stuff and the challenges.
Right, absolutely. So hey, are you going to be one of the trainers in the MLSP Road to L1 12-week series?
I'm not. I'm on one of the panels at Live the Dream. I'm going to be up on stage training the group, and I volunteered. I think I'm going to be in their Monday workshop, but yeah, I'm not part of the. I'm not doing the part of the 12-month journey thing.
Okay. So I got one more question for you before we segue off into a couple of other areas. But so, we've all watched the video of you firing your boss, and it was really just awesome. And I've had one question I've always been dying to ask you. After you fired your boss, did you ever have a moment, a come to Jesus moment, where you sat there and you said, "Oh my God, what have I done? I'm in over my head. I better quit. I better go back to being a waiter."
It's interesting. Yeah, I think that kind of thinking in general is just doubt, right? It's doubt. And I don't know that if I had that exact thought, when it came to firing my boss, but I know that doubt creeps in at all levels of business, right? It's always an enemy. It is not, I'm not just open to it that first week out of the job, right? There's different projects we take on, and it's always present. And part of being an entrepreneur, part of being in this business or whatever business if you're in a slightly different model, so be it. But part of being an entrepreneur is being able to fight that stuff and understanding it for what it is. And the reality is it's not real, right? Those thoughts, they're just not real. They're not thoughts that serve you. And I think, after I quit my job, I don't think that kind of thing settled in or that doubt crept up for a while because I was on a high, right? I mean, I was, the adrenaline was pumping. It was go, go, go. But there have definitely been moments between then and now, where you doubt what you're doing, where you doubt whether you're heading in the right direction, where you doubt, whether the new project you're taking on is the right way or if you made the right decision here or all that type of stuff. But you just got to become really self-aware and recognize it for what it is, and it's just a little bit of negative self-talk. It's fear creeping up, and you recognize it and you put it aside.
And I think we're all subject to it. I think you're absolutely right. I went through a period of time here very recently where I was doubting myself again, and I had to beat myself into submission and get pointed in the right direction. I think we all go through it. Yeah, You just came back from a retreat webinar, a workshop with Ray. That had to be awesome.
I did. I was at Ray and Jessica Higdon's Utah Mastermind. For those of you who don't know them, they are, they're big industry leaders, 7 figures in affiliate marketing, 7 figures in network marketing, 7 figures in their own products and coaching. They've generated that across the board. Now they have a multiple 7-figure-a-year business. Ray's blog alone, I think in one of the videos I saw is on, will probably do over $2 million. And I'm a high-level coaching client of theirs, and they do these 2 live masterminds, and it was just amazing. One of the special guests was Russell Brunson, a top marketer. Another was Tim Sales, somebody who's really one of the ultimate statesmen in the network marketing industry. And, there's just really isn't anything as powerful as getting around a group of serious entrepreneurs, getting around people who have what you want in an environment like that. The mastermind's a powerful, powerful thing. And, I think a lot of people hesitate to make big investments in themselves, whether it be in training or coaching or high-level masterminds or events, citing the when I make X, I will do X. And sometimes got to recognize it's the other way around. Sometimes, you got to dive in and go for it. And I remember, sitting there at his event, the first day, knowing he was going to sell a big mastermind, going, I don't know if I need this. I've got X results in my business and blah, 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 blah. And I thought to myself, you know what, Justice, take a look at your bank account. Is it where you want it to be? Is it where you think it should be? Right? And the answer was no. And so I went for it, and it was an incredible decision. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing experience, and those 3 days in Utah were I mean, they're second to none.
Yeah, having Russell Brunson there had to be really an awesome experience too. I've never heard him speak.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first time I'd met him. We had crossed paths a little bit at, or we had never crossed paths at major events. And I said to him, we just keep missing each other. But what I thought was really amazing about Russell, and I thought the same thing listening to Ray, here we have top marketers, right? I think one of Russell's companies right now is doing $1 million a month. And what you have to understand is the premise of what they talk about is people, right? When you ask these different techie questions, sometimes they don't have the answers. The things you would think marketers are thinking. I mean, if you go to Ray and ask him a Facebook advertising question, he's got no idea.
Yeah,
right?
that was something that really surprised me. I came to understand that a lot of these guys really don't know the technical stuff. Everyone gets hung up with well, how do I do this? How do I make a capture page? Ray doesn't know how to do that.
None of it.
I mean, he outsources everything.
It's it should be an eye opener for those of you who are on here. Yeah. And everybody gets so hung up in the technical stuff, and they feel so overwhelmed. And the difference is these guys bring ideas to fruition. Okay, they follow through on a vision they have on something they want to accomplish, and they make things happen. They bring the pieces together to make things happen. And one thing that I see the struggling entrepreneur, or even what I would say the employee, right? The employee who's trying to make the shift, get caught up in all the little nitty-gritty details. The entrepreneurs out there making it happen, getting it 80% right, bringing in the pieces to the puzzle to get things done. And ultimately focusing more on their audience and the prospect and their target audience and serving that marketplace than on how do I get my lead? How do I make my sale, right? You asked earlier, how do you get L1 fast? Well, go out there, and if you believe in MLSP, go out there and help a bunch of people.
Yeah,
right?
That's certainly been a big shift in my own thought processes in the last, maybe 6-9 months. It's focusing more on helping people than on any other activity. And it's really helping me a lot. Hey, I see there's a big lag in the chat. I had a question, and I don't know what happened, but it looks like Ian is back, so something dropped out. Hey, if it's all right with you, Justice, I'm going to start bringing people over that want to interact with us. Is that all right with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, so Michael, I'm going to click you over here in just a second. But coming off of the workshop with Ray, you're going to do a webinar. Is it tonight or sometime soon? You're going to do something to sort of bring the. What did you learn there to us?
Yeah, I'm doing a webinar tonight where I cover 7 of my biggest takeaways from the mastermind. I figure that people would love to be a fly on the wall in an environment like that, without shelling out the big bucks. I see Larry on here. Larry was there with us. I'm sure he's got some pretty solid things to say about the mastermind. But yeah, I like to bring that information back to the marketplace. I mean, that's what we do. Right? That's the name of the game. We bring information back to the marketplace that we've learned.
Right. Now, I'm sorry, I was clicking on a couple of people.
No problem.
I'm bringing a couple of people over that didn't ask to come over, and I'll bring them over anyhow. I thought I'd just drop Larry in whether he wanted to or not. And so that's tonight, right? You're doing that tonight. I'm sorry, I lost track.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing is that. And Lunch with Len is never meant to be a sales pitch of any sort. But on the other hand, I've always told people that if there's value in the marketplace that I can bring them, we're going to make sure everybody knows about it. What is Ray's new product? What's it all about? There's just a lot of hype going on out in the marketplace right now.
Yeah, well, it's interesting when people get behind a launch for someone as big as Ray. You can't help. We're in really a small niche of the marketplace, right? So you can't help but see it in your news feeds everywhere, and we're all on similar email lists and all that different stuff. And I remember I've seen product launches along the way where I've said I almost wanted to shut Facebook down. Like after it was, like I was seeing it so much, I wanted to go take a shower. Like enough. Like I feel like stop already, right? But I got to tell you something. you know, and I don't know if Larry's gone through the course at all yet, but I'm inside it. I mean, this course is one of the most valuable courses for the price I've ever seen. I can't believe that Ray put all this into a course. I can't believe he's charging the price point he's charging. And I've, you know, I've gone in and I've gone through 2 or 3 modules, you know, trying to pull the information that I'm like, you know, could really meet my needs right this second, and I'm floored by it. I'm totally floored by it. And I didn't even realize all the bonuses given away. You actually get a ticket to Top Earner Academy, which is one of my favorite events. Live the Dream might go down as my favorite event. But, yeah, so I'm really impressed with what Ray's done. I'm impressed with the launch process. It's selling like hotcakes out there. And, you know, I'm doing what all the other marketers are doing. I've put some bonuses together to make it a no-brainer for people. One of those being my workshop, 6 months, which, Len, you're a part of the workshop. Really excited about doing that. Oh.
What?
I was hearing feedback there, but yeah. So you know, I've added 6 months in the workshop with me and a choice of any other product there, and I'm pumped. You know, I've been going through the course, and I think I don't know if I'd love feedback from people. Has anybody else on here? We got to mute. Who do we have to mute out?
Chris, I think it's coming from you.
Yeah, I just muted Chris out. If anybody else is, Larry says this is a fantastic product. I've gone through 5 parts of it. You know, I'd be curious other people's feedback because, you know, of course we always get on and say, oh, this is the best product ever, right? Like, I'm going through it like I really think this. I'd love for someone to, you know, for someone else to kind of add that third-party validation there. But would gladly answer any questions, Len, of people that have come out and help in any way I can.
Yeah, I've tried to bring Larry over a couple times. It's not happening, so I don't know. Webinars on there or Google Hangouts seems to be a little cantankerous today.
Yeah,
yeah. So one of the things that I told everybody, and again, no hard sale here, and everybody should know. I mean, I don't have any. I'm not making any money off this, so I just know that when Ray has a product out there, what he does is awesome, and Justice is putting a lot of bonuses in behind it. So I told everybody here, if they haven't bought it yet and were thinking of buying it, that they should wait to hear from you today as to what it is you're offering them. And
you know, basically, what I've been putting out there, I've had a lot of people say they're the better bonuses they've seen. 2 of my products, you know, and my products are retail products. Some of my products retail at $297. I've got a great webinar course. I've got the Audience Builders Blueprint. Then we've got the workshop, where, you know, that is something where I do 3 private webinars per month, covering all kinds of high-level marketing training. Len's been in that workshop. We've got a couple of sessions coming up soon. And what I'm offering, if you know, as one of those choice of 2 products, you can get 6 months in the workshop free of charge. So, you know, it's real world. Yeah, we always throw values out there, right? I mean, this is stuff that would retail on my website for roughly, I think it was $870, depending on how you chose it. So, you know, I recommend the product. I love doing the workshop. Would love to have more people in the workshop with us, enjoying that training and get all the archives. You know, Len, I know you've been putting those to good use. And if people have an interest in, you know, Ray Higdon's product, I'd love to offer those bonuses to you.
Yeah, and I will go on record as saying that I'm getting phenomenal value out of your workshop. It's really one of the best ones I've ever been in, and I really, really appreciate all the effort you're putting into it. It's been incredible.
I can't wait for the upcoming webinars.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm really excited, and I've really, really learned a lot. And you know, quite honestly, a lot of what I'm learning from you, I'm feeding back to all the people that get on webinars with me. I did a training last week, or a couple of weeks ago, on Facebook PPC that, frankly, I wouldn't have been able to do nearly as good of a job as I did if it hadn't been for your training. So it's invest, learn, teach, baby. I'm practicing it.
Absolutely. So let's rock some questions. I saw Craig. There's a link for the offer. Should I put a link in the chat, or should we?
Whatever you want to do. I'm okay with it.
Okay.
So I see Bob made it on. Hello, Bob. Welcome. Does that mean you have a computer, Bob? Anybody have questions? Michael, Craig?
Sure, I can start with a question, Len.
Go ahead. Kick it off.
Justice, the program you're offering with the buy-ins, is that open to just anybody, or just people in MLSP, or how does that work?
It's open. It's open to the marketplace. You know, everybody's been out there. I mean, the product is totally public. You know, it's to anybody who buys Ray's product through me as a bonus, as an incentive. You know, we all kind of put little bonus packages together. I'd like to say I think mine is the best out there, but that's, you know, that's what people, you know, it depends on what meets people's needs. But yeah, this is for Ray Higdon's product. I don't know if you've taken a look at Ray's product, the 3-Minute Expert.
I saw about half of the introduction video. One of the people that I've done some training with sent me an email earlier this week, and she's not even a member of MLSP. She's just a fan of Ray's, and she said if you want to do advertising this year, you need to look at this program. If you don't, it's not for you. But if you want to work on your, you know, drawing new people in through, you know, marketing, using these tools, this is the way to go.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's been a really good course. Really about building, you know, building a personal brand online and building authority in the marketplace.
Sounds like a course that I need.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I believe it. Absolutely believe it. I'm going to have to pick it up. Anybody else? Craig, you got something you want to add here?
That hit me with some good questions last week. Or on Friday Live.
Craig did? Yeah, he did.
Oh, sorry about that. I guess my question is really a realization that I have recently had, and I think a lot of us fall victim to it, especially those of us who are not entrepreneurs, who have been employees for a long time, is that we confuse time and productivity, because as employees we just put in time, whereas an entrepreneur you have to be productive. And I'd just like to get your feedback on you know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no doubt. You know, it's people making the shift tend to fall into a place where a lot of what they're used to, a lot of the conditioning that's happened over years and years, really isn't serving them as, you know, as entrepreneurs. And one book I would recommend when it comes to that is The 4-Hour Workweek. That book fundamentally changed my life. It changed the way I look at things. And he had something really powerful in there. He calls it W4W, and that's work for work's sake. And well, I'm getting my, I might have to put my earbuds in. I'm hearing myself come back through. So work for work. I don't know where my earbuds are.
Hey, anyone who's not actually asking a question, go ahead and mute out if you can. Michael, I think that might help the feedback. Don't know.
Oh, he just jumped off.
I didn't mean drop out.
Yeah, so that was it. So, you know, he talks about work for work's sake, and he says, you know, we're so used to being in this. He basically says, who the heck came up with the idea of a 40-hour work week, right? And, like, why is it that we have to fill that work week to feel like we're doing our job, right? We've got to fill it to get, you know, so that our bosses think that we're doing our job. And he calls it work for work's sake. And when you come into your world of entrepreneurship, I think that we kind of carry that with us, Craig. You know, that the work, that the amount of hours we put in is really, you know, what dictates how much value, you know, we've created that week, when that's not it at all, right? It's really about prioritizing. It's really about what we're producing. And I mean, that's the premise of the 4-Hour Work Week is getting you know, getting down to the core things. It's a fantastic book.
It is an absolutely phenomenal book. I've read it cover to cover, and I'm about to start back through it again. Love that book. It's a guiding principle. So, Craig, you all spent? You got any more, buddy?
That's it for now. I'll think of another one though.
I know you will. Chris, what about you? You're over here. What do you have to say for yourself today? Any tacos?
Hi, Justice.
How are you, Chris?
Good. At my age,
Oh, no. Chris, stop it.
Stop.
Go ahead.
I have been an employee most of the time, having 2 jobs all my life. So it's been many, many years. And I need a big mindset boost. What can you suggest for me to do some mindset?
Okay, so here's, and do you mean suggestion like tips or suggestion like resources?
Both.
Okay, so here's something, it's so funny. Craig, when you came out and you say, Justice, after years of working, we fall victim to, and Chris, you open up your statement by saying, at my age, right? And I want you guys to both step back for a moment and think about, okay, what do we use in the challenge? We talk about disclaimers, right? When you say at my age, basically you're saying I'm different than other people, right? In my situation is different than those situations. And the funny part is at my age, that's you're how do I put it? You have a narrative, you have a picture painted of what your limitations are and why it's harder for you. And that language says it all, right? And so the first thing I'd say is we have to watch our language. It's I almost commented this to you, Craig, and we have to watch the story, the way we're framing our own story, right? And because when we frame ourselves a certain way, we're literally dictating limitations. Does that make sense? If things at a certain age work a certain way, then they work differently for a different age, and I'm in this group, so I have a set of limitations that maybe the other group doesn't have. And that's not real, okay? The first book that I'm actually listening to at the moment that I would tell you to read is Psycho-Cybernetics, or listen to. And that's been around for 40, 50, 60 years. And I heard him say something so incredible the other day. He said, one day, when people are wearing, when people are receiving and receiving computed information through something as small as their wristwatch, he said, right? And you think about the iWatch coming out now, and you think about someone who has their finger on the pulse, right? Somebody who really just kind of sees things, the way they are. But what I'd tell you is I'd go listen to that book, because that book talks about how our self-image, okay, the way we view ourselves, whether it be age, whether it be limitations, whether it be strengths, whether it be weaknesses, that our self-image dictates so much about what we're able to accomplish and how we go out into the world. And so really the boundaries, age is nothing. It means nothing when it comes to your success, the way you think, any of that different stuff. What you believe age means for you, okay, what you think has been imposed on you, what you think your conditioning is, what you think your limitations are, that's what you attach to age and years in the workforce. And because you believe it to be true, that's what those become real limitations. And some amazing, amazing examples in the book, talking about athletes at this point practicing in their heads, right? Talking about hypnosis. And, if somebody's hypnotized and a hypnotist convinces them that there's a hot poker, okay, touching their skin, that their body temperature in that area will actually go up, okay? And so the premise of that being that what your belief is, your belief structure, starting with the self-image, okay, is what dictates, how you succeed in things. So first things first, stop seeing yourself as a certain age. Stop even placing that label on yourself unless you want it to work to your advantage. You've got more years experience than other people. How about change the self-image to that, right? With years of experience under my belt, okay, I can pick these things up faster. I can be more confident. I'm more knowledgeable, right? I've had more life experience. Does that make sense, Chris? Do you see how the difference, how you could take age and turn it into something that helps your self-image versus something you see as a limitation?
Absolutely. In fact, I almost feel very emotional right now, so you pulled something out of me.
Well, that's a that's a good thing, you know. It really is important, guys. I talked about on Friday Night Live, people say, well, I'm new to this. Well, what's new? I mean, I want you to think about what saying that is really saying. If you see yourself as new, how do you ever go to the marketplace with confidence? You know, how do you ever go out there and succeed? See, this is why there are certain people, they get in a week, but they have a stronger self-image, right? They believe, okay, they believe that they're going to go out and crush this thing, and they never say, oh, well, I'm new to this. They don't even think like that. It's like, what do I have to do? Where am I going? How do I accomplish what I'm out to accomplish? And they go for it. Meanwhile, there's someone a year later going, I'm new. I'm a newbie. I've only been online for 1 year. Well, what is it? 1 year, a week, a month, 2 years, 6 months? Who determines? You determine. You know, and that's what's so important. So when we say I'm new, when we say, what do you say to someone who doesn't know social media like me, or what do you say to someone who's older like me, or what do you say who's someone? Why doesn't a young person get on here and say, hey, Justice, what do you say to somebody young like me who hasn't had as much experience, right? You see, like, it is really, it's in here. That is just a creation. And, you know, what do you say to somebody who hasn't been through as much school? What do you say? Well, I've been through school, so I'm conditioned. What do you say to someone who's been through so much school? You see how it's like, it's just the story. And the story is really just a representation of what we feel are our limitations. And they are not real. They're absolutely not real. What I love about, it's so funny, I had never gotten this book. What I love about the idea of psycho-cybernetics is the guy that wrote it is a plastic surgeon. Okay? And the reason he wrote it is because he eventually realized that he had what he called his magic wand. And that was the scalpel. And that he recognized that he could change the most minor physical, what we would call like imperfection or something on somebody. He could make the slightest change, and he could watch someone's life absolutely change because it changed the way they felt about themselves. It changed their self-image, right? Meanwhile, he could take someone who had, you know, and make a change to them. And if they didn't change their self-image, they would actually not believe that you could show them before and after pictures that were fundamentally different. And they literally would not believe there was a difference. Okay? And what he recognized is that it wasn't the physical changes that he was making in people. It was their self-image. It was the way they perceived themselves that dictated, you know, that dictated how they approached the world. Whether they approached the world with confidence, whether they struggled, whether they, you know, all these different hang-ups, and that it all comes from the inside out. And what I thought, I'm going to give you one more analogy from this book because I enjoy it so much so far. You know, he talks about your brain being, you know, like its ability to compute, and he calls it your automatic success mechanism. Okay? Now, your automatic success mechanism can work the same way as your automatic failure mechanism. Okay, but you are built to succeed. You're built to find the answer. You're built to excel. And he made such an incredible analogy that teaches you about the power of your mind, okay, and its ability to solve problems and to get where it needs to get, right? And this is perfect to piggyback what we said about these guys that are making, you know, that are in internet marketing, pulling in millions, but don't know how to do certain things in internet marketing, right? Because they're finding success, they're finding the solution. But you know, he talks about a heat-seeking missile. I want you to think about the technology of a heat-seeking missile, right? Like this missile gets fired from God knows how far away, right? Travels through the air, you know, and it can actually, you know, change direction, and it can find this perfect target based on just unbelievable measurement, right? And it can change all along the way, and it can nail this target God knows how far away, right? This incredible amount of technology. And then he says, what about a baseball player catching a fly ball, okay, in a major league game? Right, or any baseball player catching a fly ball. He says they have to take, their brain in a millisecond has to compute, okay, you know, that ball being hit so far away, okay, the change in velocity, okay, the angle it's coming in at, all these past experiences, right? And they're able to chase that ball down. I mean, think about a player chasing after a ball, diving after a ball, knowing exactly where it's going to be based on this ball. I mean, this is all split-second stuff, right? But he's got a series of pictures in his head of experiences in the past of that baseball, and his brain is able to compute all those experiences and automatically push him towards accomplishing the task and succeeding. So if you have a series of beliefs in your head that are positive, then your automatic success mechanism is going to work in your favor, right? But if you have a series of beliefs in your head, pictures of why someone, why you're not good enough, or why this is up against you, or why this makes it hard, or why age or money or experience or education, or all the different stories, right? If that's what we flood our head with as to why not, just see how we're getting in the way of our automatic success mechanism, right? It's capable of so much, and you just have to turn it and work it in your favor. So I don't want to harp on the book too much. I haven't even finished it yet, but so I mean, I see a lot of people saying, hey, I've seen that on audiobooks on YouTube. Yeah, there's awesome. Michael Pierce put a link up. Yeah, I mean that's what I'd say. I'd say change your language, guys. First things first, and from there that would be a great book to gain an understanding of why it's so important you don't write those stories.
Thank you, Justice. That was wonderful.
My pleasure. Thank you for the question.
Wow, we got you fired up, huh?
Yeah, well,
that was really neat. Hey, I got to tell you, after I heard that comment about newbie the other night, and I think it was Saturday or Sunday, I did one of my Coffee with Len videos on being a newbie, and one of the analogies that I used was, imagine you're 8, 9, 10 months old and you want to learn to walk, but you don't try. You don't try to stand up. You don't take that first step because you sit there and you say, well, I'm a newbie. I need to wait for. I need to get a webinar. I need to get a course. I don't know how to do this. Where's the instruction manual?
It's so it's so amazing. But the funny part is and that just shows you. Okay, that shows you the automatic success mechanism in action.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
A child is just going to figure out how to walk. Nothing stops them. I mean, they get up, they fall down, they get up, they fall down, they get up, they fall down, because their head isn't filled with the ideas of why they can't.
Right, exactly.
Okay? Because the world hasn't pumped them full of the ideas as to why it's unsafe, or why they shouldn't, or why they can't. Now, by the time a child's a certain age, if they've fallen down X amount of times in a certain area, okay, or if they've fallen down 10 times when they're on a sidewalk, might they start to have some trepidation around a sidewalk? Okay, see, that's what happens, or might they have navigated, or somebody who's a little more confident might navigate a sidewalk, right, might get better. Yeah. But the bottom line is, what they're, at that point, the brain isn't filled with all the limiting beliefs.
Yeah, one of the huge points that I made in my workshop was that we are born to win, but programmed to fail, and that programming starts the day we're born.
Yep.
Yeah. So, hey, are there any more questions out there? I promised Justice a half hour, and we're 45 minutes in, and I don't know what your schedule's like, Justice. You seem to be having some fun here, hopefully, but. Anybody else out there?
I'd gladly answer another question or two, and then I do have some stuff to tidy up on tonight's webinar presentation. Len, I was just thinking, I know we mentioned, the Ray Higdon offer here today, and you had said, hey, Justice, I really appreciate some of the things you've been doing, and I want to bring out, it's my audience can find out about your bonuses. Anybody who's on this webinar, if you wanted to grab the course and jump in, I'd gladly throw in a coaching call with you, because I wanted to make something, something that's special for you guys who are on here today. That's not just what's in the marketplace. So, just shoot, if you're going to get the course and you choose to get it through me, know that there's a little something special for this audience for coming on here today and just hanging out with us and asking such good questions.
And I put your link up there, so when I end the webinar here, I'm going to hit the redirect and redirect everybody to the link. Take a look at it. It's coming from Ray Higdon, so you know it's good. It's got Justice's bonuses, and I know that they are awesome. And I'm in the workshop with Justice, and I got to tell you, it's really incredibly good. So just take a look at it. It's
Cool.
an opportunity for you out there. So
other questions, guys?
Anybody else? You got the man here. You got a chance to ding him with a question. Bill Moore's more concerned about staying dry.
I know. I saw some stuff online today. I said, "Oh, poor Bill. Bill was driving us through that area talking about the floods."
Yeah, yeah. So if that's it, no one else has anything else they want to toss out here, I'm going to go ahead and let Justice go back to work.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. If I can help you in any way, don't ever hesitate, and we'll talk to you soon. I appreciate you too, Len.
Okay, and remember, I'm going to hit the redirect link here, so going once, going twice. Thank you, Justice.
My pleasure, guys. Have a great day.
Here goes the redirect.
Thank you.
Here goes the redirect. Bye, everybody.
Didn't get redirected, Lynn.
Well, I hit it. It said it did.
Huh.
We're still sitting here.
Well, that's because I think that's because you're on this side. I don't know.
That could be.
I don't know, but it says it said it. So.
Hey, while you're on here, Lynn, you know you were asking about the availability to put the funnelizer on your website.
Uh-huh.
Well, the one guy sent me over I don't know, he sent me over a link that you can do with it, but I can't figure out how to make anything work. I've been in the back office, so I don't think you can do it yet.
I don't think you can do it. No, I mean, you could.
I told you, Craig, you couldn't a couple of months ago because Bert worked with them, and they couldn't get it on mine. It's because it's still in beta.
Okay.
Well, it's not a matter of just being in beta. The challenge is you have to pull the whole HTML code for a page over it. All the links and everything have to work, and that's monumental. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I just put the link again for Justice's thing up in the chat. JusticeEagan.com/sneak peek. I think all the other people got redirected. If they didn't, or if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm really giving this one some serious consideration personally because these guys are so good. I'm getting so much value. I got to tell you, I'm getting so much value from Justice. I'm working with him directly. I've got a little private coaching thing going on, and I'm in his coaching group. And then he's, of course, Director Ray Higdon. So it's like, how much better can you get?
Has everybody in the chat dropped off?
Yeah, they're gone.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have time for one quick question, Lynn?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
You have to.
No, I don't. I mean, you can be on here. You may get something out of it, too. The other day with Friday Night Live, you know, Justice really told me that I should start doing my YouTube videos on every video that I put on Facebook.
Yes.
And I'm starting to do that. But I'm also wanting to do the blog, too. So when you shoot a video and you know it's going to go 3 different places, Facebook, YouTube, and your blog, what is your mindset when you're shooting it? Is it for the blog, for the YouTube, for your Facebook? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's an interesting question because sometimes I actually shoot 2 versions of the video, not always, sometimes. And the reason is that I want the Facebook version to be shorter than I'm willing to let the blog version be. So I've been known to do both. But when I'm going to use the same video every place, I shoot the Facebook version. That's me personal. And again, and the reason for that is the Facebook version has to be short. If it's more than 2 minutes, no one's going to watch it.
Right.
And I say 2 to 3 minutes, but I've really come down from even 2 to 3 minutes. I now, if I go over 2 minutes on my Coffee with Len videos, I just don't do it. And so I'll put that 2-minute video up on YouTube. It's all right, and I've been using some of them on my blog too, without even making longer versions. What I do is I write a different description, you know, for YouTube and the blog.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
now, in your mindset, since I'm new to blogging, in your mindset, do you think of a blog first and then do a video for it, or do you shoot the video and then create a blog for the video?
well, that's a good question. So I'm going to take it apart in a couple pieces. First off, the Coffee with Len videos, because that's what I'm doing, absolutely doing one of every day. I frequently have no idea what Coffee with Len is going to be about today until I'm standing in front of the camera. Okay? Now, having said that, I also have, sometimes I get an idea about, in fact, I've got a whole list of topics that I want to do videos on right now that are not, they're not going to be Coffee with Len videos. They're going to be more marketing training type of and tips videos. And they will be different. So those I will have the topic, and I might even do a little bit of keyword research before I shoot the video. I basically follow the Ray Higdon model, which is he shoots the video about what he wants to talk about, then he does the keyword research. And that's as opposed to the Rob 4 model, who does exhaustive keyword research first, and then shoots a video and writes a blog about the keyword.
Right.
I've never been very good at that. I've tried it, and it doesn't work for me. It gets to be too stilted and convoluted. So I have a topic like, what's it mean to be a newbie? I literally did this the other day. What's it mean to be a newbie? I walked out in front of the camera and I talked a couple minutes about my thoughts about being a newbie. Then I picked a couple of keywords that looked like somebody might be attracted to it, and I wrote a little short description and put it on YouTube. It wasn't a 500-word description, and that one may or may not have gone into my blog. I don't know. But I've also, again, I've got several topics that I'm going to do some videos on here in the next several days. I'm going to start putting an extra video. My Coffee with Len videos, and I'm sorry if I'm rambling longer than you wanted me to.
No, you're fine.
My Coffee with Len videos are more mindset, so I'm going to keep putting one of those up every day, but I'm going to also start putting up a more of a marketing tips and tricks video every day, and maybe not every day, but certainly several a week.
Now, I have never done anything with SEO at all until I started that blog up a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I have tried to go into Keyword Planner.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you use?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you first go into that, you have to sign up, and then it asks all this stuff about running your ad and how much you're going to spend and all that stuff. I'm not ready to run an ad, so how do you get around that and get into the keyword part?
Well, first off, I don't know that you have to answer those questions when you first sign up.
It won't let you continue.
Then answer the questions. Just don't run an ad.
Yeah.
There's no. It's like creating a Facebook ad account. You can create it. You don't have to use it.
Okay.
So you do not have to run an ad. You don't have to spend a penny on Google AdWords.
Yeah, I got frustrated the other day and went somewhere else called ubersuggest.org and went that route, but I want to get back into keyword.
Yeah. Well, just get back into it. Just answer whatever questions they want. Tell them $5 a day. Tell them whatever they want to hear, and then go do your keyword research. Just don't run ads. That's all.
Okay. That's all I got. I appreciate the answers.
All right. How you doing, Craig? I got a question for you.
Yes.
So you went through this period of time where you just didn't have any energy at all.
Did you know you're still live, Lynn?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, we're recording.